Welcome to Jasmine's tutorial on repairing a knee joint for a JM doll. This tutorial can be used for many of JM dolls, especially the larger ones, because they share a common and similar design. Before tackling this operation, you will need to contact JM for the repair parts and instructions. They will typically ship these at no cost to primary owners, and you will be surprised how easy their skeletons are to repair. Because this operation requires a few tools, I will now describe the tools needed. You will definitely need two 13mm sockets and or an open-end wrench to tighten the double nut. New knee joints and Allen keys that JM gives you in the kit. Silicone adhesive from Amazon.com. A new and sharp knife. Soapy water. A few shots of a good alcohol may be suggested. As you can see, the leg joint is for either the right or left leg, but notice it needs to be in a special position, so the leg can bend down and not up. In her broken right knee, the black nut faces outward, and you can see Miska bending or at least trying. You can tighten the nuts at this stage, but you can definitely do this once it's placed in the knee. Here he is demonstrating the procedure on how he tightens the joint. The joint has three 13mm nuts, one of which is double nutted. The inner two are tightened via two wrenches. One is double socketed and must be tightened with the outer nut last. Before cutting, make sure you spray some liquid on the joint. Soapy water can be used, but make sure it's very slippy, so the blade cuts cleanly. I think just about anything liquid can be used, and he uses this opportunity to clean the leg before cutting. A few shots of a good alcohol may be suggested. Okay, at this time you need to get mentally ready to cut, but first, a few shots of a good alcohol may be suggested. Well, it's all or nothing now, as I think he is committed to doing the cutting. I feel sorry for the doll, as that must hurt. Cut along the seam line as he is doing so the repair is clean. You need to cut quite a long way on both sides of the leg. It might take a few cuts since the silicone is deep. Just be careful and do not make a jagged cut, as that will be harder to repair. Clean out the debris and remove the broken parts. I think in this repair, he is making a 6-inch cut along each side of the leg. It is quite easy, but try to stay on the seam. Eventually you will see all the inside pieces of the metal skeleton. Do you see the broken metal part? It broke in the upper joint section. He has to remove the pieces by getting an Allen key and slowly removing all the Allen bolts. There are 8 per leg. This part is easy, but the nuts are very tight. Before the knee knuckle can be removed, all the 8 Allen bolts must be removed. I must admit, they are very tight, and Mishka had one that he could not remove and it stripped the Allen key. As you can see, he removes the broken part out of the leg and the broken piece is on left side. The knuckle is not very strong from my observation, and a larger stainless steel part would be better. He had spares, and to remove the seized nut, he has to remove the upper portion of the femur section. It is secured by larger Allen nuts, that are also very tight. This he tells me was the hardest part. Once the part is out, he drilled out the bad Allen bolt and left it that way. There are 4 Allen bolts per side for a total of 8 per knee. These are very unlikely to come out because they are very tight, and you can use thread lock or glue to tighten them down. Once that is down, place the new knee joint in, and tighten the Allen bolts. The tighter they are, the harder the leg will resist rotation. Insert the new part in with the knee joint in place. It will slide into place easily. The tricky part is to align the Allen bolts properly before tightening, or else you risk the problem of stripped bolts. Once you put the new knee joint in, test to see if it's stiff to hold the leg up. If not, then proceed to tighten the joint more. Remember, it is not possible to have the knee permanently tight, because it will always loosen. Just make it tight enough. Tighten the knee joint with the two 13mm wrenches. You tighten a bit, and then test for bending. As long as it's just tight enough to resist bending, you're done. Do not over-tighten, or else you may snap the joint. They were not designed to be super tight. Please remember this. You can see the leg is not tight yet, so you need to tighten more. Just a bit at a time. Check for leg stability, and once your leg stays up, you are ready to go to the next step. Once you are happy with the joint, you need to clean the area. Mishka uses acetone or paint stripper to gently clean the silicone skin. You must clean the cut area or else the glue may not stick well. Just apply a bit on the opened area and wipe it off with a clean towel. This part is important because the joint may have some oil and it will accidentally come off onto the cut skin. This is a common issue. I think he wipes the area frequently and also he washes his hands when he sees grease or oil on his hands. Do not get her leg dirty, and that is why he uses lots of towels. This is a messy job, but keeping everything clean is important. A few shots of a good alcohol may be suggested. Wash your hands before the next step. Clean surfaces means the glue will dry properly and stick to where it's applied. The silicone glue is used in good amounts. Don't be stingy here, use just as much as needed. Apply the silicone adhesive and put just enough to cover the area to be sealed. Do not over-apply the glue, or else you will have spills. An overuse will need to be removed now with acetone. Make sure every part of the skin is glued. Mishka tells me to use household kitchen cling film to hold the repair tight, as you can see him doing. He used quite a bit and also uses packing clear tape to hold it tight. It can help if you place a little sheet to one portion of the leg and then wrap it over tightly. It takes 3 hands, but I know you can do it. It needs to be wrapped around once or twice before the cut stays closed. Yes, you can use packing tape over the film to hold it even tighter. Remember, you do not want it coming loose and open when you go to bed. Make sure it's very taut and will not open. That's why he uses packing tape that is clear. I know, people glue only a section at a time. But I feel you can do it all at once if you're careful. Look at how the joint seam is tight. No open areas are visible, and I recommend drying it overnight for 18 hours before taking off the film. After the glue has dried, preferably overnight, use a small knife to remove her bandages. Just pull up and cut up, to reduce the likelihood of cutting her leg. Once you remove the film, you can see the seam is barely visible, but you cannot totally make it invisible, and traces of glue might be seen. You can remove extra glue by peeling some off carefully. Check for proper leg movement, and once you're happy with the result, she can be posed and be used again. I'm glad she's fine and happy again and ready for sex and posing. Well, The latter is Mishka's favorite hobby, and I'm sure he gets some private time with her for some personal lessons. He likes posing his girls, and I would say he has a doll fetish. I like his hobby, as that keeps him out of trouble and bars at night. See how beautiful she is, and how she loves being photographed. Well, Mishka is happy now and I like him like that. He was depressed for several weeks, but now is back to normal. Well, I hope you get something out of this tutorial and perhaps you can thank him for making this one. Bye bye, Jasmine.